Okay, so previously in the last video we looked at an introduction into variables, and what we're going to have a look at now is something called input statements. Now the problem is with the variable we have here is we can't really do much with it unless we change it outside of the program. Okay, but what we can do is we can get a user to type in a value which will become a variable. So this gives us our program a little bit of interactivity. Okay, and we can do this using something called an input statement. Now to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a variable called name, and we're going to go equals like we did before, but instead of just declaring a name like that, we're going to ask the user of the program to type in a name for us. Okay, and to do this we need to use an input statement. So we type the word input, and you can see there it's gone purple because it's a command word, and we can type in a string which is like a question. Okay, it gives our user some instructions on what they've got to do. Okay, so we're going to say please type in a name because we're very polite, and I'm going to close the speech marks, close the bracket. Okay, so underneath I'm going to then do a print statement, and similar to last time, the name is, and close the string, comma, and then type in the variable name. Okay, so what we'd expect to happen here is whatever name the user types in will appear in this print statement. Okay, so let's just see if it works. Okay, so you see down here we've got now an instruction. You can see the cursor's just flashing. I've just clicked on it. Now it's waiting for us to type something in until it runs this second line of code here, the print statement. So it won't run this until we've typed something into the input statement. So let's try it out. Let's type in Bob. The name is Bob. Okay, so it's taken what we've typed in, it's added it to our print statement and printed it out here. Okay, now what we've got here is a string input. Okay, string input. So this will only accept strings. Okay, now let's say we wanted to use integers to add things up, maybe add two numbers together. We have to go about this in a slightly different way. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hash out these two lines. So we've still got them, but the computer won't run them. And this time we're going to add two numbers together. So I'm going to go num1, which is the variable name, and we've got a slightly different setup here. I'm just going to type the line first, and I'll explain what's going on. Please enter a number. Okay, so what we've got here is we're asking for an integer input. Okay, and the reason we want an integer input is because we want to do a calculation. We want to add two numbers together. So the difference here, the previous one we just used input, and then we had a string statement. Okay, this time we've got int in front of it, which tells the program that it's going to be accepting an integer. So in other words, a number we can do a calculation on. Now a couple of things here to watch out for. Two brackets, okay, one around input, we didn't have that originally up here. And one then around the string statement, and then two brackets to close. So you've always got to match the number of brackets on both sides. Okay, common mistake, people sometimes forget the last bracket and then you get an error. So let's put in our second number, num2 equals, I'm going to be really lazy here, I'm just going to copy that, save me typing it again, please enter another number. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little sum here. I'm going to do num1 plus num2. Okay, so this should print the answer to our sum. Okay, so it will add the integer of num1 and num2 together. Okay, so let's try it out and see. Please enter a number. So it's waiting for us to enter a number. This is this line here. Okay, so let's just say 4. Please enter another number. So now I've typed in something for the first input statement, it's going for the second one. So let's say 5, it should return 9, which it does. Great. So Try tidying up this print statement a bit. Could you add something like a string to it, like the answer is, and then the answer? Could you maybe add a couple of other numbers? Could you do different types of sums rather than adding? Give it a go and see how you get on.